In this episode,
but I'm definitely connecting with a second father that tried to be a father and failed miserably. In your mother's case, she didn't know how to express herself, so the only way she could was to bake you something, or to make you something, or to make these little things, and that was the way she told you she loved you. This was strictly a cultural thing. This had nothing to do with the lack of love. This was just that it didn't work.
Yeah, and there was a betrayal.
Ever since I was little, I had a strange and uncanny ability to know things about people. But when I was 19, I was the victim of violence, and I had a really strange out-of-body experience. The worst day of my life became the best day because it left me with an ability to help others in a really deep and meaningful way. I'm able to connect and communicate and share messages from our loved ones who've passed on and are part of spirit now. And it's all about hope, healing, forgiveness, and most of all, love. I'm Colette Baron-Reid, and I'm here to share messages from spirit. Hello. Oh, I almost fell down. Woo! Hello. So, I am going to ask you, lady in sparkles. Yes, sparkle girl. I keep picking up postmen or bus drivers around you. Was this your father or grandfather?
I used to drive a school bus.
You drove a school bus, personally? You did? Like a long time ago. I think we were talking about your dad then. Okay. I don't know why he's telling me about bad taste in men. So does that make sense to you?
Yeah, well, they think that about me, yeah.
Okay, he would say, they've said that about you. Okay, so I'm sorry, but this is, I'm getting a very jokey person on the other side, so who actually shows me a lot of trouble. Also a very troubled person. Could this be your father?
I believe he was, yeah.
Okay, so I'm connecting to somebody male who has passed. I'm actually connecting to two men who have passed. Both of them do not live near you or did not live near you. But I'm getting somebody whose ancestry, this is not a relative of yours. This is a person, the person I'm connecting to is someone that you knew, and the other person is definitely your dad, who would be a long line of Canadians. Here's why I'm picking this up. So your dad would have passed not too long ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other man, but I am still picking up somebody from another country. So that would have been close to your dad then, because it would have been somebody that was close to him, or somebody that parented you when he didn't. So like a second father.
Well, there was another man in my mom's life, yes.
Right. So
and
like
he was in the East Coast.
Right, and he's also passed, correct?
Yeah.
I just thought maybe I got it wrong, but I'm definitely connecting with a second father that tried to be a father and failed miserably at it with you, and that you were very troubled when you were a teenager and in your 20s, and you had a lot of things that were really bad that happened to you, and he couldn't protect you. Yeah, so, and so he wants to apologize for not protecting you. He didn't know what to do. He was a very disturbed man. Do you understand this? Yeah, he really wants to say sorry for the things that happened to you. You understand this, right? Okay. I'm with the other guy now, sorry. So he left. So I'm talking about the abandonment, but wanted to reconnect with you when you were older. So there was a big period of time when you did not speak to your birth father. Is this correct?
Well, yeah, through different times, yeah.
Yeah, like you were separated for, yeah. Okay, so he is suggesting that you are the one that felt that you were given away, that you were just handed over to the universe. Does that make sense to you at all? Yeah, so he is saying sorry for that, because he's saying he couldn't handle your mother. All the two of them were like really clashy.
Okay, I always thought they were, I thought it was something different.
Okay. Well, he's claiming they had a really rough time. We're talking about your first father.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's showing me a lot of really weird colored linoleum. So I don't know why he's showing me this, that he left, there was a kitchen with old linoleum tile. What does that mean to you? And then I'm seeing a kind of like a really narrow house with, he's showing me like a shed in the back, and it's narrow. Does this mean anything to you?
It could have been the house that we had when I was small, but
When
I
you were
don't know.
small. That's when
Yeah.
he left, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, because he was looking at the linoleum tile that was always dirty, he's saying, and never was clean. So does this make sense to you at all? So
Well, it's hard to remember. I was young.
both men, let me sew this up. I'll ask them to help me. So, because they're both saying similar things. They're both taking responsibility for the fact that you felt abandoned and that your whole life you felt abandoned. And every man has abandoned you in some way. Does that make sense to you at all? Okay. They're claiming responsibility for this. And so your choices have come to you because you didn't know any better and because that's what you thought was going to be normal. And that's not, the rest of your life doesn't need to be like that. And you have hung in there with your son, right? And he's a tough one, right? Your son is difficult. Yeah. And they're like, you're not abandoning your son, even though some days you just want to, right? Mm-hmm. And he's been troubled as well. They're saying that this isn't your fault. They want you to know that you are a really good mom and it's not your fault. They want you to start trusting yourself again. You're really intuitive. You've never allowed yourself to be the person that you know you can be because of how they raised you and just how you felt like you were never going to amount to anything. And you can. It's never too late to start. You're creative. You've got all kinds of really great things that you want to do, and don't be scared to try. Does this make sense to you at all?
I guess, yeah.
You guess?
Coming up, Donna receives parental guidance.
But you need to let go your resentment, I guess, around the subject because you can't do anything to fix it because you didn't do anything wrong.
In the second part of Donna's reading, her father provides her with parenting advice.
I think they're talking about two things, both your son and an estrangement, you being disconnected from him for a period of time, and also you have stuff in storage because you're you're not sure where you belong. All right, does that make sense? So those two storylines here. So because they're showing me a bridge now between the two subjects, so this is yours. I get that. Both fathers, both of them are saying, that you mustn't let him go. That he's very resentful to your son, very, very angry at you, or, for nothing, you didn't do anything. So I see, okay, so that the bridge will be towards you. He's very harsh. He blames you for either the loss of his dad or, not allowing him to make this connection, even though it had nothing to do with you. But there will be forgiveness for you, but you need to let go your resentment, I guess, around the subject because you can't do anything to fix it because you didn't do anything wrong. Do you understand what they're saying? Mm-hmm. So as painful as it is to feel that, because you've just reconnected to him again?
Yeah, I just seen him recently.
Yeah, good. Okay. They're saying that's going to grow into something beautiful. Don't look at the past as a marker for what's going to happen to you in the future. Do you understand this? So they are definitely talking about that flea market-y thing again because they're talking about sales or whatever, you starting another business because you're kind of lost in space at the moment. Is this true?
Well, I'm lost, yeah.
Okay, so you're not, well, they're saying lost in space because this whole I'm lost storyline of yours has got to go because they're saying that you are the most resourceful human being. You always land on your feet. You've got great ideas. It's like you just got to trust yourself. You are allergic to authority. You can't stand people telling you what to do, correct? Mm-hmm. Yes? All right, so you got to be your own boss. So they're really concerned about your financial welfare right now, and you need to trust yourself. You've got a lot of opportunity in front of you as long as you do it yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. And you totally can. You are not lost. You are completely found in this moment. They are with you. They are your angels, and they're telling you you have what it takes to be the person that you know you can be. Just forget the old stories of abandonment and loss and that you deserve any of that garbage, right? They're both there coast to coast. You've got angels lining up to support you, okay? I hope this helped you. All right.
Well, I was kind of surprised because I felt abandoned all the time, so she hit it on when she said that.
Up next, Mary's parents come through.
In your mother's case, she didn't know how to express herself. So the only way she could was to bake you something or to make you something or to make these little things. And that was the way she told you she loved you.
In this reading, Mary connects with both of her parents.
I'm getting a middle Italian family, right smack dab in the middle. And I'm going to tell you the word is Modena, or, yeah, Modena?
Yes.
Father with cancer who was a cancer, and Modena or something like that, right in the middle. So near, not Pisa, but near
Just
in there,
yeah.
in the middle there. This has got to be your family. You know what's so weird? I'm getting tortellini soup for some crazy reason.
Could have been my mom.
Did she make homemade pasta?
Yes.
Like in the little things and little weenie ones that would curl and stuff like that? Okay, that was her specialty. So this has got to be your mother. Both parents have passed that I'm connected to. Okay, here's what's so interesting about them is that you actually got along quite well with your parents. So they're claiming that they don't have anything to apologize for, although your father does. So your mother says she doesn't. She made sure you ate. Sorry about that, but that's like she's just... She feels very simple
true.
to me.
Yep, yep,
You know what I'm saying?
yep.
She showed you how much she loved you by making you eat.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And that's not a typical Italian mother anyway. Like it's actually not, because in your mother's case, she didn't know how to express herself. So the only way she could was to bake you something or to make you something or to make these little things. And that was the way she told you she loved you. As she was never taught how to express herself. So that's kind of her way of saying apology. But she knows she was a good mom. Like she knows she was a good mother. And your father, on the other hand, is coming in and he was so difficult. He's saying he was a very, very strong personality. He's claiming that he repressed you in some way. Does that make sense to you at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and he's wanted me to use that word very specifically because you are not a repressed person at all. And he is really apologizing, especially when you were a teenager and you were just beginning to be that vibrant self that you are now, which he's saying is so happy that you became that woman and you found, you're somebody really loves you right now that lets you be that person and et cetera. But it took a long, long time, and you chose a lot of relationships that repressed you and made you small because you couldn't be you. Was there a brain tumor? Or like, does this mean anything to you? Like a brain aneurysm, brain tumor, brain...
In the end, my dad had the cancer in the brain.
This is definitely your dad, then.
Yeah.
It's not hereditary. He wants to make sure you understand this, too. None of this cancer schmancer stuff he's saying. He's using that language is going to happen to any of you. One thing he is saying, though, is that you've got 3 siblings. Is this correct?
Yep.
And one of them is distant from you or fighting with you? Or,
Both, yeah.
Yeah. So you got to pick up the phone. You're the only normal one in the family, is what they're saying. You're the only normal one who's got her head on straight, is what he's saying, right? And just do it, even if they're going to be crazy on the other end. Send them a note. Just say you love them. Life is so short. You never know when it's going to end. And you have known of anybody a consistent love, even though he says that, all the things that he did to you and whatever, you still turned out okay in spite of it, right? But he sees what he did to your other siblings. You understand this, right? So that they need to know they're loved and they're cared for, and you're the only one that can do that because they don't know how. Okay. I hope this helped you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They were both born in Italy, in Molise, where Colette picked up. And my dad came here when he was 15. My parents knew each other since they were 6. He went back to Italy and married her, and they both came here and moved here when they were 21. My mom always cooked, and she felt that any problem, any disease, any ailment would be healed with food, and it was mostly her food. So that was really interesting. It really resonated when she talked about my mom and her food, because she cooked not only for everybody, for her grandchildren, her children, and that was really her. That was who she was.
Still ahead, Michelle's grandmother comes through.
This was strictly a cultural thing. This had nothing to do with the lack of love. This was just that it didn't work.
Yeah, and there was a betrayal.
In this reading, Michelle connects to her grandmother, Clarice.
You went to a Catholic school. You wore a weird white thing around your neck. You were going to be a nun. You were going to be a nun. You were going to be a nun. Who was it? Ah, okay, there's another name like Claire, like a Clara.
I was very, very religious, and I have a
your-
grandmother who's passed whose name is Clarice.
Okay, and did you want to, like, here's the thing, the image is that you would not be that way anymore. So in other words, like wanting to be a nun and totally the opposite now.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Well, spiritual now,
Yes,
not
as opposed to religious, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then all of those pieces made sense to you then.
Yeah.
She's showing me something blue. Do you wear a blue uniform now? Are you around the color blue all the time? I keep picking up blue, blue, blue,
Yeah.
blue, blue. What does that mean to you?
Well, the spiritual people that I'm working with are always in a blue room whenever I speak to them.
Oh, well, that would make sense. Blue room. Oh, that's weird and interesting. Okay, you're so interesting. All right, so you're probably it. And 41. How old are you now?
44.
Okay, 3 years ago, is this when all this really kicked in with the blue room people?
Well,
What happened 3 years ago that made the big, big difference for you?
I finalized a divorce.
And he made fun of the blue room people?
Absolutely.
Thank
He
you.
was very
That-
religious, and he couldn't.
Oh, I
yeah,
get it now.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it now. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So 3 years ago is when you got your freedom from the
Yes,
repression around
absolutely.
this whole thing, and he would have liked to prefer that you were a nun. Oh, that's weird if you were married to him, but okay, good.
But actually, he would have preferred that I was really religious in his culture,
Right.
which they wear a hijab, which would make it look like a
Like a
nun.
nun's
Yeah.
habit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I never
Yeah.
even thought of that. I'm like wanting to put you today
Yeah.
in a nun's outfit.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, you loved him.
Oh, so much.
You really
I
loved
did.
this guy. This was really hard for you to split up. This
Yeah.
was a tough, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was strictly a cultural thing. This had nothing to do with the lack of love. This was just that it didn't work.
Yeah, and there was a betrayal, but yeah.
Here's what I want to say. You set yourself free 3 years ago. You're still sad about it. At the other hand, though, you are open. I definitely see that you're open. I do see you're seeing somebody now, sort of. Is this correct? You just kind of meet somebody? How do you know this person?
I met him
Before-
after my divorce.
So before and after. What does before and after mean? There's a before and an after. A before and an after. They're saying before and after. Anyway, you're going to marry this guy. That's what I think.
Yes.
So let's just get to the point. Let's just get to the point.
Yeah.
The before and the after, completely opposite.
Oh,
would
he's
never-
opposite from him. Yeah.
Oh,
They're
before-
completely different.
Total, and they even look different, right?
Very
Blonde,
different.
brunette, that whole nine
Yeah.
yards. Okay, I get it. Anyway, congratulations. And I do see the support for your path, which is actually going to turn into some kind of a teaching thing for you. Does that make sense to you at
Yeah.
all? Yeah, so that's actually really good. And this man coming into your life is there to support this new path that you're on, which has always been what you were born to do. So you actually came kind of close because you honored the deep mystical roots of the other culture, right? That was what attracted you to it. But the true mysticism doesn't have any borders, doesn't accept that there are disparity between cultures, between
Absolutely.
people. It is an egalitarian viewpoint, and that's why you're going to be very effective these days.
Oh, thank you so
You're welcome.
much.
Thank you so much.
My grandmother's name was Clarice. We were very close when I was growing up, but after my mother passed away, the connection with her family and this grandmother was pretty much severed. I was married for 9 years. We divorced partly because of the cultural and religious differences that we were having. I couldn't be as far into Islam as he wanted me to be. I felt a pull to something more spiritual, not so structured. And then there was a betrayal on his part that I could not get over, and that was essentially the end of it. I met the new man in my life about 6 months or so after my divorce was final, and he's a polar opposite to my ex-husband and a wonderful man.
I communicate with loved ones who have passed in order to bring through their messages, because until we're willing to face our old stories, they'll continue to have power over us. Our loved ones want to make sure that we live our lives to the fullest. So until next time, I'm Colette Baron-Reid with Messages from Spirit.
Oh, it's amazing, very moving.
I think she's amazing. I'm very much into the whole psychic thing, and she's incredible.
I think she's really, really, she's a lot funnier and a lot more personable than I had expected. She's actually pretty cool.
The theme of people that have passed wanting to communicate something that was left unfinished. So I found that theme of forgiveness was really important. The theme of love.
I believe in all of this. I believe that we can connect with people after they die. I believe that we don't really die, that we come back at some point.
Well, Colette is amazing. The people that come through to her and the messages that she presents to the other audience members, it's very emotional, and you can see healing happening. It's been terrific.
Anything that I related to immediately with myself, but I just found it really fascinating how the spirit comes through and how there's different messages and how it really is like a piece of a puzzle that you have to put together and just see who it's directed at. And I think it's wonderful for people to have closure, to have messages from their loved ones. I think that's really important to go on and know that they're still with us.